and the relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together.
Evidence in forgery.
Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered.
Yeah, it's fine. I can send messages to Stone.
If they were found after Doc was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
But Hop, when you reach out to Stone, could you at least be like, hey, heads up, the Shadow's also going to do a thing. So just look out for that. And we'll make sure I mark it. Hey, this is Shadow doing a thing. Sorry, yeah, I've been driving all day. I didn't get a chance to really do anything like that.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences.
Ooh.
Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know, pizza day. All right, Udgy. In return, though, I know that place, right?
Huh? What are these guys, telepathic?
I know, right?
Edgeworth sends telepathically. Evidence in forgery. When those pieces of evidence were discovered, if they were found after Doc was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Is that true? Let's start here. You can't prove one of those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that?
This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items myself. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery.
If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery.
I'm not through speaking yet, righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Doc was convicted, then they're worthless.
Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation?
It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Doc was sentenced.
Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient?
Yes, it would.
Hey, Leolite, how you doing?
Right. Huh? The chief is talking about a possibility. So as long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time.
Tell me something I don't know.
Come now, righto. Think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery.
How can you look me in the eye and say that?
Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? Not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see?
Rearranging the crime scene, blah, blah, blah.
Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there's one very large benefit you've reaped from all this.
Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit?
That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police. No, to be clear, I very intentionally scrolled along with the, on the court record on beat. I was just having fun. That's why I also wasn't talking at the time, just to be clear.
Just so be clear.
Oh,
The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to chief. That in itself is sufficient motive.
oh, that's a good one.
Huh?
Do you really think that I'm that incompetent?
Wedding was very good, Leolite. Thank you for asking. What do you mean?
Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief.
No, Falchion, no.
The resolution of SO9 merely sped up the inevitable a little.
Is that true, Edgeworth?
Yes, yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Be careful when pointing that finger. Or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. You didn't do it for yourself. You did it for someone else.
I'll get sick from Zoltan. I'll do my best.
Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Archie, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little? By all means, please do. Is he okay? I'm meeting his wife tonight, and maybe I shouldn't go on this double date.
I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. There's nothing in it for me. If there was nothing in it for me. If there was nothing in it for me. Let's see. Let's press it just so I learn more. Nothing in it for you?
Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, that's a good one, Edgy. Worthy.
Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Point out accomplice! True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone.
Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand.
That's not what I mean.
Very well, then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant might have helped forge evidence?
I mean, Lana, right, Lana? It's the only person who really desperately wanted it to not happen.
Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant?
I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit.
Self-profit? What do you mean?
After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant.
But how would he profit from all this?
He'd be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, you'd acquire unchecked authority over all investigations.
You mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. Sorry, you must mean puppetess and someone forced you to his biddings. Never mind.
Admit it, Chief! You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her.
Right, oh my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something.
What?
Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying I've done such a thing?
Lana? She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant.
I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless...
It is also what happened in this incident.
This incident? Which one would that be?
Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. No, Judge! I did not see you playing with your dolls! The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her.
Worthy. You'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just... What do you mean? You might bite your tongue. Oh, right, of course. Yeah, I do it all the time. Ow!
What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is actively threatening the prosecution. Not only that, but the chief is now making Lana take up the rap to cover up his involvement.
What? What? Order! Order! Order, I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh?
This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in a law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible!
What was the setup on that? Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. Blame him.
It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now.
Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this.
Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in corruption and murder?
Good question.
Say psych right now.
Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell.
I see. All right, then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. And it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman.
Wow, I just realized it took us this long to get there, but we are finally on the ID card record, I think.
This is the ID card list.
Like we had that sorted on the last time we streamed this, and we're like, yeah, this is really big evidence. This is what it's gonna be. And then we just didn't talk about this piece for a long time. Always reminds me of like that Casablanca line where like the chief inspector's like, gambling. Here, can you believe? He's like in the midst of the in the middle of a casino. Yes, the one who shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777.
Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number.
It's your number.
What? How do you know that? Are you a magician?
The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. Thank you for the follow, by the way. A 7-digit code.
7 digits? You don't mean...
I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Uh-oh, he's mad.
Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say?
Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card.
Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime?
What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can pee wherever I please. Gross. When you entered the room, were you alone? I never pee alone. Oh, never mind. I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman.
What do you mean? The trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt.
Yeah, you lost control of that a long time ago, Judge.
No, it isn't, Your Honor. The trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting?
In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm gonna have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime.
I don't know. Huh. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Think! 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 Only assigned detectives Prince can log in indicator. Oh, I picked the evidence locker before, didn't I? I didn't pick. I thought that was the safe, and it was the evidence locker when I did that earlier. My bad. My bad. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Well, it was the Gant requested evidence, right?
Is that it? Is it all I remember?
There's got to be something more solid than this. On the date, Detective Goodman had to go see Chief Gant. Ah, dang it. Yeah. He's just digging around in his Phoenix backpack. I'm sorry, I really have forgotten. I will straight up rutabaga this one because I have a feeling that Goodman was going to confront him about the SL9 incident, about with regards to the evidence, but for some reason, I cannot for the life of me recall what piece of evidence would connect him to that. That right now, you're on it. Dang it! Where was mine? Where was mine? Oh, I was looking. Oh, there it is. Can only be some of those. I got it. Now I got it. Now I got it. Now I got it. My bad. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Much appreciated.
Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it.
So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police.
Yet you're in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it.
He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day.
He needed to?
Yes, to transfer the evidence out.
Oh.
Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room.
I accompanied him.
There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room.
Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman.
See you, Sierra. Exactly.
But wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort.
Sorry, but that's not possible.
Hey, Mitsukiva, I'm doing good. How you doing?
According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you'd really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body.
No!
Uh-oh. Chief Gant also has, like, one of the coolest angry faces ever in this whole series.
Chief Gant, you didn't.
The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder.
Good night, Danielle.
After the murder, you contacted Lana, the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course.
You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there?
I was at the police department the entire day, you know.
Everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony.
Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal.
Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so.
Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. All this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space.
How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence.
To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. The Blue Badger! It's pretty obvious. I'm just trying to remember what... I assume it's the parking stub, right? Representing the car. This is how I moved Detective Goodman's body.
A parking stub? Miles Edgeworth?
You mean... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car.
You mean I carried the victim's body? While saying I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world in my car?
Precisely so, and what?
But wait, now you know. I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day.
But you did return. Tell me, why? Hello. Cairo, how you doing?
I was told to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here.
So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk, and also a screwdriver.
Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye.
Order! 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 What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations?
Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed into the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite.
It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk.
Chief Gant, please say something.
I believe your time's up.
My time's up? But I have so much left to live for. No!
Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special.
But the cross-examination isn't finished yet.
Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons?
Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now.
What? There's not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered, like my hurt feelings.
So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right?
We got it on tape! Tape, book him! I never cheated on my math test! Hi, I'm Timmy Turner, and I cheated on my math test!
I can't miss Margarita happy hour, of course.
But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now.
Well,
You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with.
I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Oh, Mr. Wright,
Your Honor?
do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Mr. Sky dispose of his body.
Any concrete proof? Not yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence.
See, Ajay.
In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief.
What?
Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Ajay, I'll leave the rest to you. Ghost time.
I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency.
What?
Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her.
Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean?
There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony.
Lady who knows the truth. Another witness.
In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony.
But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify.
There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone in this very room.
Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person?
Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today.
Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist?
She may not be willing to tell the truth. But we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth Mike Meekins! No. It's Lana Sky, the accomplice.
The defendant? Miss Lana Sky?
She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task? To dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders.
Mr. Edgeworth?
The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor.
Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we'll reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. And ruin our entire justice system in one fell swoop. Remember that? You're pretty good at it, honestly.
Listen good, Lana.
He's talking to Lana.
I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder.
This isn't good.
Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just
something to think about. All right, then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Goodbye. I know, wild things to say in court.
Well, anyway, if there are any further objections, I'm off to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. This court is now in recess.
February 25th, 2:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
Looks like you managed to stay in the game.
Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief. He's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe! I'm not a detective anymore, remember?
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. You're hiring me for the disgrace of this whole business.
My office?
Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with, remember?
Could he mean Maya?
Still, it looks like we're out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify.
Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said.
But Chief, this is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Like my hurt feeling.
Risks? What did he mean by that?
It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true.
You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too?
Yeah, I figured it was Emma. Emma, are you okay?
Yeah. When I came to, I was in the medical office. I'm a murderer now. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she heard everything that's been going on.
Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. That now that wasn't my first, that actually my second murder was not my first.
Relieved?
Yeah, now I feel way better about killing people. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Off I go killing again.
Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her.
Yeah, Maya's training under a waterfall. We're just kind of ignoring that for a bit. What do you mean?
What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do.
Must be why she became so cold.
It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. And I'd do it again.
I don't know why I'm following this line of thought. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal.
I don't know about that. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. That's great, because my voice is starting to really hurt someone else, man. Emma, why don't you wait in the...
No, I'm going with you.
Hey, DJ, how you doing?
We live in a society. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth.
Oh, great! Another top-knotted girl to replace Maya, so I can't have the job, huh?
Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this.
Kind of wanted to see Gumshoe like side by side with us in the defendant's area. All right, friends, last segment, and we're done. Holy hot gee, this has been a long case. But we're going to do it. We got to finish it. We got to finish it tonight. We got to do the whole thing. The whole kick-a-boodle has got to be done tonight because I'm not streaming again until next week. And I sure as heck am not leaving it off on this. February 25th, 2:21 p.m., District Court, courtroom number 9. Redeem is out of stock. Yeah, we only have like 1 or 2 per stream.
Now then,
That's true, and that's why we're actually playing this in the first place, Louis Dragon, or Dragoon, I should say, is to get ourselves prepped for the Investigations games when they come out next month to the States, officially, for the first time. I've played the fan translations, but now I want to see what the actual official translators have thought about it. So, yeah, that's what we're doing.
will defendant Miss Lana Skye please take the stand?
Miss Lana Skye, you're the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you.
But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth.
Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant.
Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Gant and the fabrication.
I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course, I'm sure. But Lana!
If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. Well, case dismissed. I'm gonna go get lunch with him.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me.
What if she's telling the truth?
She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. I know, even the judge is like, well, I don't know about this one, sir. Charged to be, but yet be 14 at the time and currently still underage. I know, right? Well, it sounds like, you know, if you control the police and the prosecutor's office, you could probably get away with quite a bit. But most of the time, yeah, involuntary manslaughter at best, right? There's no truth. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago by myself. Let's dig into that. Yeah, we were talking about that, Dwayne. As it turns out, Japanese tends to have like low context in the actual physical things you say, or the actual verbal things you say, and more about the physical body language of what you're doing. And so those kind of parentheses bits aren't usually actually thinking, but instead kind of like, I'm arranging my body in such a way that it would sometimes display what I'm got in my head. Also, Emma can read minds, but that's beside the point. Did you do so to help your sister?
Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life.
But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything.
That's not the point. She was traumatized that day all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana.
So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago?
You say you did this all by yourself.
Yes.
Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene?
It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body.
What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident.
That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement.
You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark?
Something like that.
If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife.
Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies.
All just to protect me. How nice.
So when you found this scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes.
Aha! Here we go. Now we're getting some new info. Broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. Say what?
Planted it inside of the wound. Planted it inside of the wound.
I feel like this is definitely it. I'm just trying to figure out what to present against it, but I'll hit this first. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound?
I moved the body?
But why? Why would you do that?
You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Why'd you plant the knife? But why did you do that?
Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out.
Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reasons Miss Sky fabricated the knife.
I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed.
According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right?
Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body.
So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound?
Yes, because I hated Dark for what he did.
Just for funsies, I'm going to press this again. Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body?
It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk.
Well, the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there?
The reason for that is simple.
Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body.
The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan.
Let's talk about that. Pieces of the jar? You mean...
Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it'd be more expedient to move the body.
So, when you first found the body, the jar was already...
Of course, it had been shattered to pieces.
If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away with what happened. Neil Marshall was dead and Doc was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have broken during their struggle.
I see.
What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone.
I think I know. It has to do with presenting this here jar. Yeah, I did it.
The Blue Badger, shut up!
Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister.
You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered?
If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring everyone's attention to a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right.
Do you have a problem with that?
It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Right? Like, it'd be weird if you decided to write Emma, but in 3 different pieces throughout the pot, right? Like, you wouldn't write E on one piece, and M on another piece, and A on another piece that was just strewn about the floor, right? He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar.
Order! Order!
Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here.
Something critical?
Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are, but the truth towards which we're headed.
What?
Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth.
Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony.
Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out.
Still stream, Daddy. It's still streaming, at least.
To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
You mean you're the one who wiped away the message in blood?
I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time.
She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Jar and message in blood.
Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. Present jar! Right. Because clearly there was a piece that she didn't erase, but was strangely and not maybe perhaps missing from the scene of the crime at the time that she got there, because she was wiping all the blood off the pieces, but there's one piece that's got a lot of blood on it. Well, just saying. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of.
What?
We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe.
In the chief's safe? But how?
I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it.
But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them.
Yes, which leaves us only with one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you.
But couldn't the defendant have simply, missed a piece?
I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective.
That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my all along. Can you believe that?
Have you forgotten, Your Honor?
No, my dentures are right here.
When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar is already broken.
Who that?
There's no way your name could have been written on a shattered jar. Now the person discovered the scene prior to the witness.
Hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar?
The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years?
Ah,
Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that?
nah! No. No. I can't believe this. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here.
Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar, and he purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called?
Fabrication of evidence?
But why would Chief Gant do that?
In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear?
What happened afterwards?
Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the chief's puppet.
No. I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies?
Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist the truth.
What? Wait a minute. Twist. Knife. Death. I call on Larry Butts. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap?
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright?
Lana, may be right after all.
What do you mean, right?
So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright?
Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie.
But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall.
Miss Skye, if you will. I can't.
There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there's a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth.
Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw.
All right. The witness may testify once more for the final time. I gotta get lunch. Jeez.
Actual crime scene.
When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. My Chief Gant helped me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really wasn't a fabrication, Emma might be innocent.
Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword?
You were the only one who saw that. If only had proof.
Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning.
What? To me?
It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed.
But I don't remember receiving a picture like that.
Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture.
I don't remember receiving no picture from no Lana.
She said she gave it to you this morning, right?
I seem to remember getting something from her then.
Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere.
A blip.
Look at this photograph! God, do I love the detective penguin!
Bail!
What? Hey, there's a picture here. Woof. Bad times.
Oh my. This is the actual crime scene.
No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything.
Lana's picture inserted into the court record.
Mr. Wright! A piece cut out from his vest! Could that be?
The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this?
This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whosever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. Oh.
Good. Because they have her fingerprints on them. What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma.
Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
She does not know. She does not know one bit.
Oops!
Oh. 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 I was getting into cross-examination mode, and it just stopped.
This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen.
Chief Gant.
What? Now you want me to make me out as a bad guy, too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense.
I'm afraid it's too late for that.
What?
Nobody declined to testify. That means you're forfeited your right to make statements of any sort.
This must be that risk we were talking about earlier.
Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck.
He's still got a bit of lightning in him. Sorry, it's a line that I always remember from was it Moonrise Kingdom, the Wes Anderson film. A kid like runs out into lightning field danger and gets electrocuted, and then he tries to kiss. He gets like shocked by lightning, and he runs back. He's like, "No, I'm fine, guys. Everything's good." But he tries to kiss someone later, and he shocks them. And he's like, "Sorry, I still had lightning in me." It's like, nah, that's not how this works.
Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements.
What do you mean?
The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence.
Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you saw some conclusive evidence?
No, I don't. But someone does.
Someone?
So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Ring a bell?
Is this true, Mr. Wright?
I show that piece of evidence now. Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer.
Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. If you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries.
What do I do now? I think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence?
I'm gonna save just in case, because this is getting a little dangerous out here, you know what I'm saying?
Answer your question from before. I do not know how much longer, but we should be getting close. Sorry, I'll be getting back to this in just a moment. Sorry, friends. Oh, boy. All right. I was just checking. I've got work to do tonight, man. Ugh. Boy, I got a late night ahead of me. The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall. Show evidence! Yes, Your Honor. I do have further evidence.
All right. The time's finally come to show it to him. Those prints have got to be the Chief's.
Now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. Evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall.
I'll be a good boy.
It's a piece of leather cloth.
There's this next week so I can get things done / relax. No, I gotta do this, because otherwise, yeah, it's gonna be too long. And we only have like 30 minutes left to this. I'm caught in a bad spot. But I'll get it done. I'll make it happen. Yes, it most likely was cut from the victim's vest near his chest.
What's this? There's a big handprint on it.
Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword.
What? Whose fingerprints are on this?
I'm sure Wright-o has checked, haven't you?
Well, whose are they?
They're Miss Skies. Miss Emma Skies.
What? They're mine? So I really did do it.
See? I told you it was conclusive.
But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that?
But
Give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over.
Huh?
You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Skye to Neil Marshall's death.
no.
It appears we have our killer.
No. No! Everything hinged on that point. In the end, Lana alone was found guilty on all counts. Uh-oh! I messed up. Isn't it a little messed up, though, that... Yeah, I saved right here. Isn't that a little messed up that we are withholding evidence from the trial? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. I thought about it and thought, wow, everything would go really bad. I was really accurate in my imaginings, but it didn't happen. So there.
What? You lie! Chief Gant? You opened my safe. I know you took what was in...
Oh, he messed up.
The conclusive evidence.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it.
What are you talking about, Chief Gant?
Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area?
Think you much better be for the raid. How you doing? How's your stream? What's going on? Hope you're doing well tonight.
It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason.
You mean you have this in your safe?
What? That means you, the chief of police.
I know we baited him back, right?
I've been concealing evidence. It's going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department.
Whoa!
Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened.
What? You mean you admit to it?
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her.
I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask for my aid.
So you assisted Miss Sky. I know, isn't this like testifying? No, it's not green text. So there.
I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had planned the knife tip in the victim's body and moved the body across the room.
And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted.
When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. That was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you.
2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe?
But why?
For insurance, of course.
Insurance?
I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed.
You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence?
What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. Otherwise, it just says Etta. Like ETA. And that doesn't mean anything. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces.
But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too?
Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance.
You mean that piece of cloth?
Come on, Righto. Cough it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you admit to it then, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe?
Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer.
Hey, Vox Lover, how you doing?
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present.
Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it before it was too late.
It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine! Just for funsies, I'm going to read up on good old evidence law once again. I guess I'll do it again. I'll save. I'll do this. Makes no sense after him simply denying it, putting in the safe, yeah. I get you. I can't do it. No, it's too late to show the evidence now. Besides, even if I did, it'd just expose that poor girl's fingerprints.
Right. Think hard of the circumstances.
The circumstances?
Talking about then and now. There's one major difference between the two. Aren't you waiting for that difference?
So, Edgeworth figured out my plan.
Ow! Mr. Wright, this is your only chance.
Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now.
All right, then let's see this conclusive evidence.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest.
Oh, yes. At last you finally brought it out into the open.
There's a handprint on this piece of cloth.
Yeah, there is.
Your Honor,
The prosecution requests that it be immediately sent to the lab for analysis.
this handprint on the leather.
Must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly.
You mean?
Could not have been forged. Must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Wow, thanks, Edgeworth.
You're slows on the uptake as ever, Worthy.
What?
Think about it. Righto had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be?
You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that?
Mr. Wright, do you really know?
Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they?
Very well. I'll tell you.
Should be okay now.
Everything's proceeding as predicted. They belong to Emma Skye. I know that part.
Emma? Emma Skye?
Sorry, I'm just looking through to see how close we are to the end. We're getting very close.
What? They're mine?
I'm sorry, Emma.
But why? Why didn't you just tell me?
You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along. And yet you still tried to pin the murder on me.
So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death.
How could you? You monster!
Miss Skye,
You knew his fingerprints, those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't.
Miss Skye, it's not over yet.
What?
I said this trial isn't over yet.
But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. Now have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat's got your tongue? Are you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer?
Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up.
Oh, and what's that?
Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall?
what?
Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask?
It was Emma Skye, wasn't it? Can I have a cookie now? Oh, no cookie.
I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction.
What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about?
I'm talking about a contradiction. One that Hold on. Just remembered something. I never realized I looked at the backside. Just looks like a big pair of lips. All right. Anyway. Who the real killer is?
Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict?
Actually, I haven't really thought about this.
Yeah, there's a really important piece to this puzzle, ain't there? Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Hold on a sec. This looks like a pair of lips from the other side. Hey, Black Teddy, how you doing?
And what exactly is this supposed to be?
This is the picture Miss Skye took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out?
Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. How scandalous. Shouldn't see this. Partially vestless? Oh my. It's hard to make out with all this blood on his vest, though.
Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. He died. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Thanks for that.
Oh, well, that piece of cloth. Wait, there's no blood on it. Ugh!
Since Emma Skye's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time.
No, this is nonsense.
Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. Most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Skye, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword? Then to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And to make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago. That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Through this very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. It's finally all over.
That was close, Righto. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see that the piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Order! Order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Raji? Earlier, old Righto here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Righto? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you?
Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time.
Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence.
At that moment, the piece of oat cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
But that's not fair!
Did you actually think you could best me in court? Looks like the last laugh's on you, son.
I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct.
Cool.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth,
True, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal.
well, Mr. Wright,
What am I, a lawyer? Oh, right. It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived.
Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? You purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth.
I didn't. I admit I refused to present it at one point. How lawyer of you.
Naha! So the evidence is illegal.
No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't?
There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence.
No, Mudgy. Don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe.
There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not?
Very well. Let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. You can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now.
How about evidence law? This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. We need the evidence to testify.
What's this?
I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more.
What?
You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law.
Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department.
I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying I did not have approval from the police department. Whoops.
Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial.
And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident.
What kind of nonsense is this?
You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and...
Sorry, but can you recall?
When was that picture presented?
I was shown only a few moments ago.
No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless.
The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant.
You yourself confessed to a certain truth.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest.
Oh, yes.
No.
It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth.
The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person it could be. Damon Gant! The killer was you!
I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me.
Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty.
He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Star, then convinced Bruce Goodman.
Detective Goodman?
Yeah, that's right.
If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you got to help me.
Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit.
He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence.
Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman?
Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered.
He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said,
It's not too late. I'm gonna hand this all over to Marshall.
well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SO9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife.
Hey, we went through this whole game not knowing Goodman's voice. You can't tell me he wasn't Mickey Mouse. You can't tell me he wasn't Mickey Mouse.
I couldn't just pull it out.
Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime.
Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake.
Hey, Willow. How you doing? The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker.
I used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous.
Good to see you as well.
I had no business doing any of it.
And you put the body in my car.
I'm sorry! I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will.
Phoenix just like goes up and high fives him like very like awkwardly like, yes, that's kind of funny. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this?
Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out.
So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker.
I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take.
So, you left the jar fragments in the glove.
Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well. Much to my dismay.
Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that.
Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court?
Me?
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me. were the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone.
Cool.
Well, looks like it's time for me to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy.
What?
Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend.
I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, and an example of others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person.
Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you've Wrighto here, and Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning.
There are two things I want you to understand.
Yes?
First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent.
You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence and up until today.
So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered.
I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you all out of your trouble. Out of all your trouble, I should say.
My. What high standards you have. For a rookie.
Hey,
I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you might just make it to the top.
aw, she's smiling.
I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright.
Miss Sky,
And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you.
It was nothing. Yes, of course.
liar.
I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth.
Stop it. I only did my job.
Stop it, guys. Come on.
By the way, yeah, I'm sorry. I see you all in chat, but I'm blasting through this because I do want to go to bed at some point, and I do want to finish this. So, but I see you all. Hi. Hello.
In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky,
Yes, Your Honor.
you're innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains.
Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky,
Not guilty.
That is all. This court is adjourned.
We're almost there. No, we do need to finish this case because I'm gone for a week. We got to do it, but we're there. This is it. We're in the epilogue. We're done. February 25th, 5:03 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2.
At long last,
It's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook. At least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. Huh? Huh?
No, that's not it. Just now after the trial ended.
I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright.
The epilogue is not short? What, compared to Case 4's epilogue? Hopefully a little shorter.
And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well.
It just happened. Come on.
You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe! What is it? What? We're stuck in a loop.
You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around all while on duty, and to top it all off, you call me here. I've been seeing happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding.
Oh, are you here because of my sister again?
Nope, not this time. I came today because, you, pal.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone.
Hey!
Lana!
Should you be doing this?
I don't know. I got fired 3 days ago. What do I care?
You're still under arrest, you know.
Yeah, I beat up a lot of cops to get here. But I won't tell if you won't.
Or like, Phoenix is just like sweating.
Emma, I owe you an apology.
It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it.
That day, 2 years ago. Was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in this mess.
Sis,
I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself. But I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew.
but sis, you were only doing it for me.
No.
Huh?
I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth. I was deceiving you.
Sis,
I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry.
but sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now.
You're happy?
Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have.
Oh, Emma. Emma.
Aw, they finally hug. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from here that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt, watching the two sisters make up.
Mr. Wright. Mr. Gumshoe.
Me?
Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday.
Nope.
Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
Edgeworth?
Stop hiding and come over here.
I know, right? Kato-chan is like, it felt like he was like looking back on that day, like he's on his deathbed or something. Where was he hiding?
I just came to say, congratulations.
Whoop!
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Right. Well, I'll be going now.
Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you.
It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right.
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone.
I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now.
But Edgeworth.
Who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor.
Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma. We're both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What? Yeah. What is this, a pop quiz?
Come on, Mr. Wright. Show 'em what Lana's talking about.
Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. Just real quick, I think I know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's the evidence list that we stuck together, like I don't know, Parent Trap style. But I'm just gonna triple check real quick, just to make sure I got that right. Later, epilogue. Present the evidence list. Yep, that's exactly right.
That's the picture I drew.
If you drop mine, will you add me? No, sorry. If you have some sort of business that you'd like to discuss, Mantinelli, though, you can always do so via my business email, contact@shadowtemple.com. No underscore there. Or you can DM me on Twitter. Or, yeah, it's probably the other safest bet, to be perfectly honest. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other.
We complete each other.
If we see what this is all about stream, can we call you daddy? Oh, no. I'm going to say no. Please don't. That just adds too much. You could do it here, but let's keep that one quarantined to this land. We don't have to subject poor Zeldathon to such things. They will have other completely brain rot memes going. Don't you worry. apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture.
That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth.
It's time for me to go.
I know I did, Robin. It's self-inflicted. Again, I know. So I'm not like, I don't know, timing people out for saying it because it's I did it to myself, but still.
Mr. Edgeworth.
If you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor.
Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you.
I know. Seems I owe you my thanks too, Wright. But what I face now is my problem.
Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you. In court.
Farewell.
I'd better be going too. To jail.
Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon.
Seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you.
Thank you for the follow, by the way.
Scientific investigation?
It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well.
Thanks, sis. I will.
And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself.
Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal.
Huh? What is it, detective? I was trying to drift off into the sunset.
Well, it's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this, so,
But I thought you said it was okay.
Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks in prison are a different story. Let me tell you what.
Huh?
Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe you me, it wasn't cheap neither.
But, huh?
Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side.
Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright is the one who'll be footing the bill.
Huh?
Huh? What, you didn't think I could afford it with, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal.
Huh?
Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best.
Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream.
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go bribe a guard.
And there you go, friends. We did it! And it only took 4 hours. Ow, my throat.
I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office.
Yeah, that would do it.
Still, I managed to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma.
Yay! We'll do our little extra bit of epilogue here, friends, and then we'll head off for the night.
Yikes, I thought it was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation at the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, we'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily.
Yeah, so friends, last stream for a week. I'm not going to be here tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. I will be returning the following Tuesday. I believe that is August 20th. And we'll jump into, if I'm doing the memory thing correctly, hold on. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show him though. Someday I'm gonna make detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that Dick Gum show. We'll get into the second game, the second Ace Attorney game, that Tuesday following Zeldathon, and we'll keep digging in. But friends, a reminder that the whole reason, look at this glorious beast out in the wild, doing his thing. I love him. Oh no! Somebody killed the blue badger. Anyway, friends, please go and follow twitch.tv/Zeldathon.
What is it? Can't you see I'm having a show? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. She's seen one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. He even gave Bambina his room back. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water?
Sorry. I hate these little epilogue things where they don't let me click through it. I get that they've got a task to do, but I want to read the things.
Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I've put on new menu. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards.
But it's seriously super fun. And even if you don't care about Zelda, I promise you, it's only like 30% about Zelda. And if you like Zelda, hey, it's at least 30% Zelda.
I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Whatever his name was. What was...
God dang it, Judge.
Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? Well, anyway, I got another trial to get to, so I better be, huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go.
The hymnification of the judge by the end of case 5 here has been something else. Because he was a little goofy, like, in the first 4 games, or the first 4 cases of the first game, but as soon as, for some reason, they just unhinged him for the rest of the series.
Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you say objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium.
Mystic Maya! Afternoon training's about to begin!
Coming! Well, see you around, Nick.
He's allowed to leave? Hey, Stone. I got a thing to do after this. But yes, late stream because I wanted to finish this case up before we leave. Yeah, I'll be getting to Zeldathon tomorrow night, which is not actually when Zeldathon starts. Zeldathon starts Tuesday. But the vibes are fun, and we're raising money for St. Jude, friends. Can't beat it.
Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. What's going on?
This is the end of the game. That is correct. We finally did finish it. I can't believe they had this. You're right. This epilogue is something else. That was a butler from like case 2 of the game that they decided to throw in just as a fun little extra bit, I guess.
Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad and confused how a train will get me there, but I'll be all right. Whenever I want to see Lana, All I have to do is open this book.
Cute. Open it. Oh, look at those two. That's very cute. And there it is, friends. The blip blip means that we have a completed case 5, and it means that I can go pretend to go to bed when in reality has about 2 or more hours of work here tonight. Oh boy. Oh boy. But I'm glad this is done. Not in the sense that I didn't enjoy it. Obviously I enjoyed it, but I'm glad that we got through it. I'm glad I feel accomplished for having done so. And I'm excited to start off. Justice for All is the next time you're going to see this channel go live.